It started with lipstick. Not the dramatic kind in a crime scene. No, this was worse. This was subtle, intentional, strategic. The kind of mark someone leaves when they want to be found. I was folding the laundry, his dress shirt tossed over the back of our dining chair like he didn't have a whole-ass closet when I saw it. A smudge, faint, almost artistic. Crimson, high-end, not drugstore. And definitely not mine. I wear taupe, beige, nude tones that whisper instead of scream. This was a red that dared me to notice. I held the collar in my hand like it might combust. The fabric still smelled like him, sandalwood, citrus, and that warm, clean thing I used to think was safety. I wish I could say I confronted him right away. But paranoia makes you slow. It makes you calibrate. Instead, I tested the waters. Over dinner that night, I asked, busy day. He didn't flinch, just smiled that sleepwalker smile he'd been wearing lately. Back-to-backs, everyone's losing their minds over Q4 numbers. That's when I noticed it again. The perfume. It hit like déjà vu. Not mine, not familiar. Something floral and dry like iris. Luxury. The kind you only smell at weddings or high-end spas or on someone who wants to smell unforgettable. I leaned closer, pretending to kiss his neck. New cologne, I asked. He laughed. Nah, probably just one of the intern's body sprays. I got stuck in the elevator with the HR girls after lunch, like a bath in Sephora. My stomach twisted. He always had a joke ready. But he never had two excuses for one detail. That night, while he showered, I stood in the walk-in closet staring at our shoes. His work shoes were polished, pristine, except for a small smear of what looked like beige makeup on the side of the left one. I was spiraling. And I knew it. But something inside me whispered, keep going. So I did. Over the next few days, I became someone else. Someone who checked his car in the mornings, his gym bag, the glove compartment. I never found anything damning. No underwear. No receipts. Just gum, protein bars, and a charger for a phone that didn't exist. At first, I thought maybe it was just a backup for work, but he never mentioned a second phone. And when I asked, casually, hey, didn't you used to keep a charger in here? He blinked and said, did I? Must have left it at the office. That's when my hands went cold. Because the charger was still there. He just lied about it. But the worst part wasn't that he was lying. It was that he was good at it. Which meant this wasn't new. One night after he fell asleep, I reached for his main phone. Face ID failed. Twice. He used to have me programmed in. Now, locked out. I lay in bed next to him for hours, the phone on my chest, my heart pounding like I'd stolen a bomb. I didn't sleep. The next morning, he left for work with a kiss on the forehead and a reminder to put gas in your car. Light came on. So I did. And that's when I found it. I'd never opened the back panel of his SUV before. Why would I? That's where he kept golf stuff, gym shoes, maybe a broken umbrella. But tucked under the cargo mat, next to an old fleece and a bottle of windshield wiper fluid, was a phone. Small, cheap, burner-style matte black. It buzzed once in my hand. No lock screen, no face ID, no password. Just texts. Miss your mouth, same time tomorrow. You left your earring in my jacket. Still can't believe we did that at her place. My vision blurred. I scrolled faster, my fingers shook, my thumb slipped. Then I saw it. A photo. Blurry, but it was our couch. My throw blanket. And two legs entangled, his and someone else. I couldn't see her face. Just her thigh. Her red nails. Her perfect arch. She was wearing my robe. Not a copy, mine. I slammed the trunk shut so hard a woman at the next pump jumped. My hands were ice. My breath was wild. I sat in the driver's seat and stared at the wheel. He brought her into my space. He made her comfortable enough to wear me. But I wasn't ready to burn it all yet. Not until I knew who she was. So I took the phone. Charged it. Opened the photos folder. And that's when I saw her face for the first time. Familiar. Too familiar. It took me a full 10 seconds to place her. Because it wasn't a stranger. It wasn't a coworker. It was the receptionist at his dental office. The one who always complimented my lipstick and called me girl like we were in on something together. She looked me in the eye every time I sat in that waiting room. And now, she was naked in my house, wearing my robe, texting my man. And based on the timestamps, this had been going on for 7 months. I shut off the burner, sat in the car, and smiled because I suddenly remembered something else. She's pregnant. She mentioned it last time I was there. Laughed about cravings while booking his appointment. He had smiled too, said, "You're glowing, seriously." My ears rang. My lips tingled. I knew what I had to do. Because if I was right, and I was, this wasn't just cheating. This was a double life. And I was about to expose both sides of it. I couldn't stop thinking about that photo. Her hand resting on his chest, his mouth open like he was laughing, our couch, my robe. She didn't just look comfortable, she looked claimed. And the worst part, the timestamp. That night, he told me he had a late client dinner, that he'd crashed at the office, said he didn't want to wake me at 2 a.m. I brought him coffee the next morning. He kissed my temple. He asked if I wanted to go to that little cabin upstate next weekend. He said he missed me. The memory made my stomach turn. I kept the burner phone charged and hidden inside a hollow book on my shelf. Yeah, like I was living in some bad spy novel. But what else was I supposed to do? Every time I held it, it buzzed with another message. I can't wait to raise this baby with you. Does she suspect you're so good at playing innocent? Do you think it's a girl or another little you? Each message felt like a wire tightening around my ribs. The baby was his. I wasn't just the side piece. I was the decoy. He wasn't cheating on me, he was using me as cover. So she wouldn't question where he was on Thursdays. So she wouldn't wonder where his extra toothbrush lived. So she'd think he's not hiding anything. He's open, he has a girlfriend. And I was helping him without even knowing it. It made my skin crawl. I started watching them both. The receptionist, her name was Jasmine, posted soft, vague stories on Instagram. Mugs of tea, cloudy window shots, the kind of aesthetic that says peaceful, thriving, mother-to-be in lowercase cursive. In one video, I saw the corner of a painting. My painting. The one I'd hung in my guest bathroom. She filmed herself in my house. And that's when the rage hit. That cold, heavy kind. The kind that doesn't make you cry, it makes you plan. I waited a week. Pretended everything was normal. He brought me flowers, ran a bath, said work was calming down. He even offered to take me out Friday night. But when Friday came, he suddenly forgot. He had a conference call with a client in Tokyo. At 7 p.m. Sure. So I said, no problem, and smiled as he left in a crisp black button-up. I gave him an hour. Then I opened the burner phone. Nothing new yet. So I refreshed the Photos app. Boom. New picture. A slice of tiramisu, 2 spoons, one male hand, his, with that stupid woven bracelet I got him in Mexico. Behind the dessert, the blurry outline of Jasmine's belly. She was showing now. He'd taken her to our favorite Italian place, the one where we carved our initials into the bench in the back booth. I knew the manager. So I called, said I'd left my wallet there earlier, and asked if I could swing by. He said of course. I grabbed a hoodie, threw my hair into a low bun, and drove across town in silence. When I walked in, I didn't even need to look around. I could feel him. And then I saw them. Back booth. Her hand on her bump. His hand on her hand. He leaned in and said something low, and she laughed, that annoying, performative laugh women use when they're too into a guy who doesn't deserve it. I ordered a water, sat 2 booths over, watched. Then Jasmine stood, waddled toward the bathroom, and he pulled out his phone. Not his regular one, the burner. I saw the case. Same scuffed corner. And then he smiled. He texted me. From his main phone. Still at the office, they just added another presenter, might be a late one. The audacity. He had one girlfriend in the bathroom, the other one sitting 2 booths away. And he was texting a third lie with his free hand. I sipped my water, waited until Jasmine came back. Then I stood, walked straight over. His eyes flicked up. For one glorious second, his soul left his body. "Hi," I said to Jasmine, "sorry to interrupt your date." She blinked. "Wait, aren't you?" "Yeah," I said, "I'm the one whose robe you wore last week." Her face drained. His jaw clenched. I tossed the burner phone on the table. "Hope you enjoy co-parenting with a pathological liar." Then I turned to go. But Jasmine, God bless her, said, "Wait, you're not the wife." I stopped. My chest turned inside out. I turned slowly. "What do you mean, wife?" She glanced at Ryan. He looked like someone had just flipped over his chessboard mid-match. "You didn't tell her?" she asked him. He stayed silent. Jasmine looked back at me. I'm not the only one he got pregnant. I didn't respond. Because I couldn't feel my legs. I just stared at her belly. And then I remembered something. The drawer in his nightstand. The one with all the receipts he insisted on saving. There had been a sonogram printout. I thought it was hers. But maybe it was. Maybe it belonged to someone else. And suddenly, I wasn't sure if I was the decoy, the girlfriend, or just another body in his rotation. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat on the edge of my bed, robe wrapped tight, surrounded by evidence. Burner phone, my laptop, his stack of receipts, which I dumped out like I was building a timeline for a murder investigation. And maybe I was. Because I realized something as I spread them across the floor. He didn't just cheat. He scheduled it. Carefully, repetitively, obsessively. Dinner dates, Uber charges, prenatal vitamins from Whole Foods, one receipt from a hotel near the airport, paid in cash. The timestamp on that one matched a night he claimed to be helping his brother move. But here what made my breath catch. There were 2 sonograms. Dated 6 weeks apart. Different formats, different medical centers. Both listed the father as Ryan T. Both showed approximate gestation dates that overlapped. And that's when the fourth twist hit me. Jasmine wasn't the only one who was pregnant. And she wasn't the first. I stood, adrenaline buzzing through my fingertips, and opened the Notes app on my phone. Started listing dates, names, hints I had ignored. March, Jasmine first mentions baby brain. May, he cancels our anniversary trip, says his boss's father died. June, my robe vanishes for a week, then reappears. July, lipstick on the collar. August, wrong perfume. September, second sonogram, different ob. I was building a case file against my own boyfriend. But he wasn't just a cheater. He was a collector. Of secrets, of women, of carefully constructed, overlapping realities. Every lie fit inside the next like Russian nesting dolls. And I had been the outer shell. The next day, Jasmine messaged me. A long DM on Instagram. No punctuation, just a flood of confession. I didn't know he was with anyone else, I swear. I thought I was the only one. He told me you were his landlord at first. Then he said you were an ex who couldn't let go. I didn't even know you lived together. I didn't know. And then the kicker. I'm keeping the baby. I don't want anything from him, but I thought you should know. He told me there was another girl. Said she got pregnant too, but she didn't keep it. I texted Kayla. Kayla is my ex-roommate, best friend, and the only person who's ever threatened to key a man's car over mismatched socks. She showed up 30 minutes later with coffee and dry shampoo and asked, "How bad is it?" I handed her the burner phone. Watched her face twist with every swipe. When she got to the photos of Jasmine, some clothed, some not, she exhaled and said, "He's not just cheating, he's casting." Like a director. She nodded. "Yeah, for a fantasy, you're the domestic one. Jasmine's the soft fertility goddess. And whoever that second sonogram belongs to, that's the tragic arc. He builds these storylines with real people." I felt sick. Kayla scanned the texts again. "You know what we need to do, right?" I shook my head. "What?" She held up her phone. "We find the other girl." Jasmine doesn't know who it is. No, but he does. And then she grinned like a woman, about to set fire to a wedding dress. Let's bait him. We waited until Thursday night, his gym night, always out till 9, always sweaty and smug afterward. I texted him at 8:15. Hey babe, had a weird dream about you. Hope you're okay, we still good for Saturday. 5 minutes later, he replied. Of course, miss you, long day, call you tomorrow. But I didn't wait. Kayla and I drove to the gym, parked across the street, and watched. He didn't exit the building until 9:40. And he wasn't alone. He was holding hands with a woman I'd never seen before. Petite, long dark curls, tight black leggings, a sweatshirt that looked suspiciously like one of mine. I snapped a photo. Then another. Kayla whispered, "You think she's the other pregnancy?" I nodded, I think she might be the first. The woman leaned into him, he kissed her temple, they looked deeply familiar. I waited until they were gone. Then I opened the burner phone again. Scrolled through the contacts. Found one labeled Maddie. I tapped. Scrolled. And there she was. The girl with the sweatshirt. Holding a pregnancy test. Captioned, "I guess I'm not going to Coachella after all." Ryan's reply. "I've always wanted a daughter." The text was dated April. April. Which meant Maddie was 7 months along. And Jasmine. 6. He got them both pregnant within weeks of each other. I sat there, phone cold in my hand, feeling the walls of my world tilt. Are you okay? Kayla asked. No, I whispered, but I know what I'm going to do. Because this wasn't just about me anymore. This was about 2 unborn kids. 3 women. And 1 man playing God with all our lives. So I opened a new group chat. And I added Jasmine. Then Maddie. Then typed, "We need to talk, you don't know me, but we're all having the same nightmare. And it's time we wake him the hell up." It didn't take long. 10 minutes after I sent that message, both Jasmine and Maddie responded. Jasmine first, fast and breathless like she'd been waiting to talk to anyone who understood. Oh my God, I knew there was someone else. Then Maddie. He told me you were his cousin. Yeah. His fucking cousin. It took everything in me not to throw my phone across the room. Jasmine messaged again. He told me you were renting his guest house while going through a breakup. And Maddie added. Wait, he said you were pregnant too, and that you lost it. That's why he was so worried about emotional triggers. Kayla leaned over my shoulder and read the thread. That man, playing Mad Libs with your trauma. We started comparing timelines, locations, dates, and it became painfully clear that this wasn't a slip-up. It wasn't even a man caught between 2 lives. He was choreographing this, booking restaurant dates in 45-minute windows between appointments, scheduling Jasmine's OB visits on the same day as Maddie's ultrasounds, but different clinics, dropping each of us a version of the same sweet nothings in between. You're my center. I've never felt peace like this. No one sees me the way you do. Copy, paste, send. We all felt sick. But none of us cried. Because we were already past grief. We were pissed. Kayla leaned back in the chair, sipping from her Diet Coke like a general mapping out battle positions. You know what this calls for, right? Jasmine answered before I could. A reckoning. We didn't know exactly what that looked like yet. But we knew this. He had lied. Manipulated. Impregnated. Gaslit. And now, we were going to end his whole damn show. Step 1, gather proof. We created a shared Google Drive. Jasmine uploaded screenshots from her chats. Maddie added photos of Ryan at her baby shower, smiling like a game show host. I dropped in burner phone photos, receipts, timestamps, sonograms. By midnight, we had a dossier 70 files deep. Kayla renamed the folder. The Ryan files, please enjoy your ruin. Step 2, confirm overlap. I messaged a mutual friend of his, someone from his office, who once drunkenly told me Ryan was hot in a dad way. I asked casually if Ryan had mentioned a new baby on the way. Her reply, LMAO, which one? I blinked. Excuse me. There's gossip. His receptionist is pregnant, and maybe someone else from his gym? But Ike, he's been weird, like super zen all of a sudden, talking about letting go of attachment and honoring multiple soul contracts. It's giving cult vibes TBH. I screenshotted that. Dropped it in the drive. Kayla whispered, he's about to honor a soul contract with his own grave. Step 3, exposure. We debated going nuclear on social media, but Jasmine worried it would backfire on Maddie. Maddie didn't want her parents finding out about any of this. Jasmine, for what it's worth, was fully prepared to torch his house. But I had another idea. Let's hit him where it hurts. Kayla smirked, his dick. No, his reputation. Because Ryan, God help him, still had a private coaching practice. He ran a podcast about emotional attunement, had clients, a website, a verified TikTok account. He billed himself as a relationship healer. And we had the data to prove he was a relationship parasite. So we scheduled a Zoom call. Just the three of us, plus Kayla silently recording. We planned it for Saturday, mid-afternoon, right between Jasmine's glucose test and Maddie's baby yoga class. I sent the invite to Ryan from a fresh Gmail. Subject, soul contract alignment session, client emergency. He replied in 5 minutes. Absolutely, always here to hold space. Gross. We logged in early. Waited. And at 3:01 p.m., he appeared, centered in frame, softly lit, wearing one of his fake humble linen shirts, hair styled like he wasn't a man juggling 3 pregnancies and 2 SIM cards. He smiled. Hi, I'm Ryan. How can I help you feel seen today? Then his face froze. Because all 3 of us were there. Me, Jasmine, Maddie. All staring directly at him. And I said, oh, you're going to be seen, don't worry. He didn't move. Didn't blink. Maddie broke the silence. You lied to all of us. Jasmine followed. You manipulated me into keeping this child. And I held up my phone, burner screen flashing. Say hi to your second phone, asshole. He stammered, I think this is a misunderstanding. No, I snapped. This is documentation. You don't get to breadcrumb women into pregnancy and then act like you were just exploring your truth. Maddie added, you told me she was your cousin. Jasmine chimed in, you told me she was your tenant. Kayla finally unmuted and said cheerfully, smile for the camera, Ryan. You're gonna be a content warning. That's when he hung up. Disconnected. Poofed. Gone. But not for long. Because Kayla was already uploading the video to a private link. The TikTok would follow. The captions. He got 2 of us pregnant, lied to all 3, said we were each his center. So we centered ourselves. Receipts don't lie. Ryan files. Soul contract Mayas. It wasn't just revenge. It was a wake-up call. For every woman who's ever second-guessed her instincts. For every girlfriend who found a receipt, a hair tie, a lipstick that wasn't hers. Because sometimes, the red flag isn't subtle. It's scarlet. And he wears it like a badge. By Sunday morning, the video had over 2 million views. Ryan's name was trending on TikTok, not because of his podcast, not for his emotional resilience coaching series, but because 3 women had exposed his pregnancy Ponzi scheme in a 4-minute split-screen confession that felt part therapy, part true crime. The comments were brutal. Imagine thinking you're the main character and ending up the villain in a group chat. This is why I don't trust healers who still use their college headshot as a profile pic. He called it a soul contract. Buddy, you're late on your karmic rent. But the most haunting comment. I dated him 2 years ago. He told me I was his grounding energy. I found out he had a fiancé. That one had likes in the tens of thousands. Then another. I miscarried in 2021. I didn't tell anyone who the father was, but now I'm 90% sure it's him. He disappeared a week later. The Ryan files weren't just viral, they were a summoning circle. More women came forward. Some posted anonymously. Others emailed screenshots of old conversations, receipts from vacations, copies of voice notes that made our skin crawl. He hadn't just lied to us. He'd been running the same script for years. Different versions, same phrases. You feel like home. We were meant to heal together. This is sacred, let's protect it. It was like he kept a template in his notes app. Kayla uploaded everything to the drive. We added a timeline tab. By Tuesday, it stretched back 5 years. Meanwhile, his coaching site went offline. His podcast was pulled. One of his biggest sponsors dropped him and issued a statement. But Ryan, silent. No video, no statement, no apology. He just vanished. Maddie told us he hadn't contacted her at all since the call. Jasmine said the same. I checked his main phone, it hadn't pinged the burner since that night. Gone. For 3 whole days. Then I got a package. No return label. No tracking. Inside was a handwritten note, folded around a thumb drive. The note said, "You don't know everything, play this first." I held it like it might be laced with arsenic. Kayla stared at it. That's either a confession tape or his TED Talk. We plugged it into my laptop. A single video. File name, Truth Final 3 Mauve. Ryan sat on the floor of what looked like a dark cabin. No shirt. Eyes puffy. Hair shaved. "I've left everything behind," he began. I rolled my eyes so hard I almost lost vision. "I realized I've been living as a mirror," he continued, "reflecting what people wanted to see. I didn't mean to hurt anyone, I just fractured." He went on like that for 10 minutes. No real apology. No ownership. Just vague spiritual guilt and pseudo-intellectual detachment. Then near the end, something new. I found out Maddie isn't carrying my child. Kayla sat up straight. What? He stared into the camera. It's someone else, she told me. I didn't want to believe it, but the math never added up. But Jasmine's baby, that's mine, and I want to do right by her, by him. He sniffed, wiped a tear that may or may not have been real. Please don't release this part, I'm trusting you. The file cut off. Silence. We sat there stunned. Jasmine called 2 minutes later. Did you get the package? You too. Yeah, but mine had a different message. He said he was going to disappear, that he couldn't sustain this many identities, that he's going off-grid to meditate. What about Maddie? She doesn't know yet, I'm calling her next. My stomach flipped. Because he was trying to separate us again. Divide and reframe. Recast us in new roles, one exonerated, one betrayed, one ignored. It wasn't over. Not yet. We had the receipts. He had the desperation. But what he didn't know. We had a plan. Kayla opened her laptop. We drop everything, all of it. The videos, the audio, the extra testimonies, the real story, not just the sexy viral angle, we tell the whole truth. You think people care. She looked at me. I don't care if they do, this isn't just revenge anymore, this is documentation. And then she smiled like a woman, with nothing left to lose. Let's build the archive. We launched it on a Sunday. The homepage was simple, black background, white serif text. At the top, the Ryan Files, a study in emotional fraud. Below that, a single line. When a man makes a sacred mess out of women's lives, we clean it up with evidence. Clicking through led you to the timeline, the gallery, the receipts, and a tab labeled Survivors. We made it anonymous, encrypted, and easy to contribute. No names, no emails, just uploads. Within 24 hours, 37 new entries poured in. Within 48, over 100. Different cities, different women, different years. Same patterns. Same lines. Same spiritual language, dressed in decay. One woman shared a voice memo. I know this sounds crazy, but I think we were soulmates in a past life, and this time we're meant to break the cycle, together. Another submitted a photo of a bracelet, same woven one Ryan wore when we met. Turns out, he'd bought 6 identical ones on Etsy. He gave them out like party favors. And one woman, Anna, had the most chilling file of all. A PDF. Titled Contract of Devotion. It was a literal document Ryan had written, printed, and asked her to sign. Full of phrases like, I vow to protect our container. I will not seek outside validation. I surrender to your leadership as sacred masculine. She thought it was romantic. A month later, she caught him having sex with a former client in her kitchen. Same excuse as always, she needed healing. Same deflection, you're reacting from trauma. Same follow-up, ghosting. We asked if we could publish the contract. She agreed. Said it made her feel like lighting a match to a paper prison. And that's when it happened. BuzzFeed picked it up. Then Jezebel. Then a podcaster with 2M followers made an episode called Gaslight Gatekeep Guru, The Cult of Ryan T. And suddenly, the archive exploded. Thousands of hits. Emails from reporters. One therapist reached out and said, I have 3 clients who all dated this man under different names. Different names? Of course. We dug back into Maddie's files. Her Venmo history showed she once sent $80 to a Eli T. We checked the photo. It was him. Same jawline. Different beard. We added a section to the site, aliases. So far we had Ryan T. Eli T. Rowan T. Kyar. T.R. Ellis. Conscious Lion 87, Instagram burner. Each link to receipts, posts, or screenshots. And at the top of the page, if you've met any of these men, run. Then one night, Maddie called. I saw him. I sat up in bed. What's where? At the Whole Foods on Fremont, wearing a beanie, holding a baby carrier. I went cold. A baby carrier. Empty but still, like he was practicing or trying to look, I don't know, approachable. Did he see you? She hesitated. I think he wanted me too. That was when I realized. He wasn't hiding. He was rebranding. Of course he was. If you can't outrun your past, you bury it in crystals and hashtags. He'd disappear for a few months. Grow a new beard. Move to a new city. Change his name again. And start over. New podcast, new rhetoric, new rotation of healing relationships. But he didn't count on one thing. The archive lives forever. Every name. Every photo. Every voice memo. All indexed, all linked. All waiting for the next woman to Google him. To find it before she falls for him. Because the first time I caught the lipstick, I blamed myself. The second time, I asked questions. The third, I built a damn website. And now, he can't run from it. Because for every lie he told, we carved a receipt in stone. And every time someone searched his name, they'd find it. They'd find us. I didn't think he'd reach out again. After the video, the archive, the TikToks, the press, it felt like Ryan had finally been exiled from his kingdom of women. The man who once called himself a mirror for divine feminine healing had been reduced to a case study in digital betrayal. But on a foggy Tuesday morning, his name lit up on my screen. Blocked caller ID, voicemail. I didn't listen to it right away. I let it sit. Watched it stare at me from my notifications like a ticking bomb. Then, out of pure morbid curiosity, I hit play. You win. That was the first line. Then a long pause. I don't know what you wanted. Attention, revenge, some weird sisterhood manifesto. His voice cracked, dry, tired, but not broken, just cornered. You made me out to be a monster. And maybe I am, or maybe I just saw too much beauty in everyone. Maybe I belonged to too many people at once. I laughed. Out loud. Because this man could be caught red-handed, red-lipped, red-flagged, and still make it about how deeply he loved. I'm leaving the country, he continued. There's someone in Portugal, she doesn't know yet, but I think she could be different. I paused the message. Looked at Kayla. He's starting again. She didn't even blink. Then we update the damn website with Portugal. I tapped back in. Just let it go, okay? You've done enough, you got what you needed. The rest, what's left of me, let it stay buried. Then, almost as an afterthought, you were the hardest one to lose. Click. That was it. No real apology. No truth. just poetic self-pity, and a vague warning wrapped in faux closure. And yet somehow, it made something click inside me. Because once, hearing his voice would have undone me. I would have sat on the floor, mascara running, replaying it like a scratched record. But now I just felt clean. The three of us stayed in touch, me, Jasmine, Maddie. We even Zoom once a month. Jasmine had a little boy, Maddie had a girl, different fathers, different cities. But sometimes we catch each other staring off on calls and we know. We're all remembering the same lie. The same man who said, "I want to raise her with you. This baby is our soul's rebirth." I've never felt seen like this before. It hurts. It always will. Not because we loved him, but because we loved who we thought he was. What he pretended to be. What he mirrored. That's the cruelty of it. He didn't just steal our time. He stole the version of ourselves we were becoming with him. 6 months after the archive went viral, we added a final tab. Red flags to watch for. A checklist crowdsourced from over 200 contributors. He says you're his mirror. He wants you to move in, fast. He hates being labeled, but keeps tabs on your every move. He speaks in therapy terms, but refuses to go himself. He asks you to keep the relationship sacred and private too early. He talks about past life ties after the second date. He introduces you to another woman he's healing. At the bottom, if he talks like he's writing an Instagram caption for a breakup that hasn't happened yet, run. It sounds silly. Until you live it. Until you're the one crying on the floor of your own bathroom because your boyfriend's client left a pacifier in your laundry basket. Until the perfume isn't yours. Until you find 2 phones. Until your pregnancy test glows positive and he doesn't even flinch. And you realize, he's been here before. So yeah, I burned his bracelet, deleted the burner, moved to a new apartment, painted the walls, changed the locks, and donated every single mug he ever touched. But I kept one thing. That stack of receipts. They're in a shadow box now, labeled. My wake-up call. Because I don't need closure from him. I've got documentation. And I've got proof. He didn't break me. He just built the platform where I finally learned to speak. So if you're reading this, if your gut is churning, if the lipstick isn't yours, if he never lets you near his phone, don't wait for the big reveal. Don't wait to catch him pregnant-handed. You don't need proof to leave. You only need you. And maybe a few good women with Wi-Fi. Subscribe to my Mia's Stories YouTube channel for raw, emotional stories and authentic insights that encourage healing, growth, and understanding. Don't forget to be part of a supportive space where stories inspire and lessons resonate. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion truly matters to us, and we're here for you.